I'm doing great on the buttons this morning. So you got a jump scare when I pushed the face cam button instead of the opening theme button, and then I had the monitor on the one that's your live, not me, so it just went black for a second. Let's just go from here, shall we? I still know how to scrapbook as far as I'm aware. All right, it's Friday. It's also Georgia's birthday, and if you don't watch live, you might be like, what? But Georgia is here in the live chat a lot, and since these new YouTube crown things came in, she's very possessive of her chat queen status. Anyway, she politely asked would I consider doing a cut file, and I have cut something. So can we see what it says? So I've linked everything up. I've cut the Paige Evans overlapping Celebrate, which is in her silhouette store for under $1, I'm pretty sure. But there's also a free version that's not overlapped. It's more like a grid. It's just the letters C-E-L, E-B-R, A-T, but without the overlapping. It's more just 9 letters in a grid. I don't know why that's hard for me to explain. It's 9 letters in a grid. You understood what I meant. So that one's free on the Scrapbooking Cards Today magazine website. I've linked all that in the description box, along with a link for a Cameo cutting machine if you've been thinking about getting one. And the mats that I use are on a Prime Day deal today, so I put those in too. Okay, that's enough hashtag advertising to just launch in. Let's take a look at the desk, and we have made 2 layouts with the July supplies so far, and they look like this. We've got this one with a 4x6, 4x6 in color and a 4x6 in black and white, 2 different photos, and Vicky's a beautiful orange tone paper in the background there. And then on Monday, we did a starting point where we put a bunch of stuff at the top half of the page, but left this kind of third of the page empty to put photos or whatever else you'd want in. And so that is also Vicky's paper, but that's the blue paint wash in that one. Now, I went ahead and did this cutting without making any plans of which papers from the kit are going to work. I do have some photos. They obviously will not all 4 fit, but I figured I could just use the others on a different page, so I printed 4 and we'll go from there. Right, a little moment for which corner am I going to start with? Here we are. We shall remove this beautifulness from the background, from the cutting mat. And then we're going to see what paper it might work with. We could always ink it. So I've got this from American Crafts white cardstock. No idea which American Crafts products are going to stay in, like which ones, now that the company's been purchased. I don't know what they will keep making in terms of standards and what they will choose to eliminate, but for the time being, I still have a bit left of their just standard white. It comes in a packet where you get loads of sheets all together. Yeah, that's what this white cardstock is. I knew there was a bit up here that I'm going to have to fix, and it was not the cutting machine's fault, it was mine. Because I didn't realize that I had dropped something, and it ended up getting sucked underneath the blade when it was cutting right over here. And I was like, oh, please don't cut in the wrong place. But it means that that bit only had 1 pass while the rest of the page had 2. And that is how I get a clean cut on mine. Everybody has to kind of get used to what the settings are best for their machine and their products. But I use a slow cutting speed and 2 passes, and that gives me my best cutting results. Oh, Georgia has had her birthday nails all finished, and they have hearts and smiley faces. But she's not sure how many smiley faces the nail lady was giving her at 9 a.m. I would like super happy detailed nails at 9 a.m., please. All right, so that's the R. This is the B. This is the A. Okay. So what do we have left that's still stuck? Just the dodgy bit that I messed up. All right. So let's just go really slowly here so I can see exactly where. I just need to take the center out. Fine. Easy. Now, I will put my bit of plastic back over this so it doesn't just get dust and not be sticky anymore. And then let's just fix what I messed up. Pay attention. Don't let any little bits of paper fall on your cutting machine. I was moving stuff around. That's what it was. My cutting machine is behind me, and I was moving something from here to there and back again, and I just dropped a tiny bit that was like this size. All right. Oh, that is a very good resource to have. April's local library has a Cricut, so she can take a class to go learn to use it, and then she can go cut there and not buy her own machine. It is the sort of thing that unless you are like cutting is your vibe and you just want to do that all the time, I think using one from a library or sharing one with cropping friends, that's a brilliant way to do it because it is a big purchase and not something that I use all the time. Like I haven't done a live stream with one of these in a long time. Okay, so let's figure out. We could definitely put it on there. That is the journaling cards. No to that one. No. Could put it on pink. My yes pile and my no pile are merging. Hold on. There we go. Green. That could work. I don't think it's going to work with my photos, but it would work with the cut file. You could, actually, because there's white in these flowers, you could work it here, but it's not my kind of style. You can tell. Could work on this one, but again, it's not going to be the right colors for my photos, I think. And then obviously, these colors will work nice and bright. More blue there. Dots. Go on pink here or orange there. You could even use that floral. Okay, but I'm gonna go with the crowns are out. Chat queens are chatting it up. So I have green, peach, pink, or blue. But these are my photos. I think the blue, right? It does mean I am sacrificing all the 4x6 cards. Is that going to bother anybody? I like this blue ledger, so it doesn't bother me. All right. So Georgia, if you are aiming for that #1 crown, you might have to keep singing happy birthday to yourself, but one line at a time. I think the system is pretty easily gamed. All right. So we can have this situation like that. Oh, I got my new bracket, by the way. I went ahead and ordered 2 so that I have a backup now. Right. Do a little bend and snap and a speech. And then we'll start cutting out some backing paper for these letters. So we got 2 here. Bend and snap. Do, 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 do. I think definitely these 2. If I end up being able to add in one of those, great. But I think these 2 really work. That was him saluting before he went in for his last show. And that was the balloons that I went to sneaky get for him after I dropped him off. But I've got 2 extras. That's him on the way home. And his last show was sold out night, so I took a picture of the sign outside. All right, so that's where we are there. Let me give my speech, and then we'll cut out some letters. Hello. Hi, I'm Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my #advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, quiet, craft, don't craft, think about coming back to craft or picking up something new. You can find all the links that you'll need in the description box. That includes a cutting machine and mat for today, since I've used that, and the cutting files, both a paid for and free version. Also, where I teach my classes, which is at shimelle.com. The supplies you'll see me using this today is the July supplies, but you can already find next month's top up to the July kit linked. And today is a good day to go scrapbook shopping because they've got 13% off the whole store. So you can use the code PRIME for that. And you can use my affiliate link to get there if you don't mind. That'd be super duper awesome. It makes all this possible. You can find all the other places that you might find me in the description box too. Any questions, just ask. There are class videos coming up today for both Old Stash and Punches. Later on today, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. So it's a big day. It's a big day. Let's get scrapping. I think that's everything. Right. Boop. All right. So paper then to go behind here. That means we can use the ones that we've already cut into. And I've also got my layering pack. So I'd like to bring in a bit of the bright blue. So we can have this one. Let's have some of the stars as well. That looks good. I like these colors, but I'm not going to like them behind a white border because white here. So no to that one. You who wants to know why Cinderella today? Just cause, no particular reason. Top of the laundry basket. That kind of reasoning. Could do this one. So I could just repeat because each line is 3 letters. So I could repeat those 3 patterns, or we could bring in an extra color. I actually think I just want to stick with those. Let's do it. All right. So let's start up here in this top corner. So here is what we do. Oh, I might bring in, let's use this for the journaling, even though this has lines on the background, because that color is in this floral. I just think that's going to work. Right, first of all, I need a pencil. And there's a lot of cutting. This is why I don't do this very often on a live stream. Because it involves cutting out the pieces. And that's not the most exciting thing. But what I do is trace on the inside and then cut on the outside, yeah? So you can also trace outside and cut inside the line, whichever works best for you. cut this. Like that. The cutting is very forgiving because we are going to stick that over the top. And so you have this much space. Okay, so then I need to put something underneath here so that I don't just glue my desk. Now you can trace everything and then cut it all at the end, or you can do it as you go. There's no particular way you have to do it. And then that's going to look like that, all nice and tidy on the front. Yes. When the letters overlap, how do you... Oh my goodness. You okay? Just breaking a glass? Whoops. Okay. Let me try that again. Joanna says, when the letters overlap, how do you decide which letters stay whole? I don't overthink it. This is what I do. I start at the beginning, and that's going to be the whole thing, you know? That's why I just stick it down as we go. Yep. You can think about it more than that if you wish, but I don't. All right. Trace, 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 and you'll end up with these gaps, but with letters and this kind of font, it's pretty easy to figure out where the lines would be in the bits that you now have as a gap. Yeah, you don't have to worry. Something like an E, just cut all these as straight lines and then come back and do the bars in the opposite direction. Remember, it's going to be covered up, so you don't need to worry about how tidy the cutting is on those corners and stuff because you're not going to see it. So we have all of that. Joanne says she finds it a little difficult to back cut files. May I suggest starting with cut files that are simple, because all cut files are not alike when it comes to how hard it is to back them. So letters like this, big open stars, things like that, they're going to be way easier than small motifs and things that are less blocky, things that are more fluid. I've cut that bottom one just a little bit too big, so while I can, I'm going to cut that down. This is a paid cut file. It's linked, I think it's, do I still have it open? I think it was, yeah, here. It's 99 cents American. So it is, and there's a similar one that's free, but it doesn't overlap. So I've linked both of those. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I need to be on this side. There we are. And if you use this, both of the cut files, both the free and the paid version, are by Paige Evans. So you can tag her. She also has a Facebook group. If you want to share what you've made, you can do that very easily. I couldn't find a whole lot of layouts that had already used this one. So you might even, by sticking it up somewhere online, you might be really helping somebody who's got this and then is thinking, how am I going to use it? Because I had to look just in case I picked one that inadvertently has been done a gazillion times or something and I didn't realize. But nope, I only found a couple little looks. And I don't think that mine's going to end up looking like those samples. So we'll be adding some different inspiration. Goodness, people are talking outside on the street so loud that I can hear their whole conversation at my desk with all the windows closed and everything. Right, so we've got CEL. So then we're going to move a long one. So the E is going to be that color again. Yeah. Hello, Christina. How are you and little one? Oh my goodness, Nikki, I can't believe you walked that far in this heat. Have a drink now. Something cold. In case you hear more Brits going on about our weather, because you've had the context that, oh, this is the wrong direction. No, it is. It's fine. No, it's not. This has text, so it'll be upside down if I do that. Oh, well done, Christina and little one. No hospital visits this week. We like the sound of that. Right, so anyway, our news headline this morning is this another heat wave, or is this just what summer is going to be like now? So we're looking at how much has summer climate changed, because this is more hot days than we would have normally had like right through the entire year. So we're all kind of going, oh, maybe we need to reevaluate the fact that we don't do cooling our houses. But there's an amazing Hannah Fry video out at the moment. If you are curious as to why we cannot cool down the underground. And it basically is because the heat has been there since Victoria was on the throne, and we don't have a way to cool it down because the clay, the earth that's between the tube and the fresh air, has been heated by body heat and train heat for all those years. So even when the weather is not hot, it's not actually ever cooling down. So you could air condition the tunnels or something, but running an air conditioning system there is actually going to warm up the clay. So that would be bad. She has an excellent way of explaining things. It's just, so yeah, if you're curious about things like that, her video about it is right on the money and really explains it well. As to why it's hot. But interestingly, I've read conversations online and people asking questions going, so the tube is so hot, I think I might drive in central London this week. This doesn't help either because the more cars we have in central London, the hotter central London gets. Yes, you're not underground, so you have some place for it to escape at the top, but we also have kind of an umbrella of air pollution. So driving your car into central London is nice for you, but not helpful for the city as a whole. Suki, we do have fans, but they're blowing hot air when this happens. So we do have some places that have aircon, so you can kind of choose to go somewhere. A bit like, I remember seeing like video clips or film, like old newsreels, of how one of the ways that going to the movies became really popular in America in early days of its popularity was because they would have air conditioning. So the theaters are mostly air conditioned. The movies are air conditioned. Restaurants and office buildings, they tend to be air conditioned. Not all of them, but often. And so that's where you end up with your logic of, what shall we do? Where shall we go? I can recommend that Starlight Express has the coldest air conditioning of any theater I have ever experienced, because some of their costumes weigh more than WB. And so they have to keep it really chilly in order for their performers to not overheat. Because if you think about places where they wear giant costumes that would be very hot to meet guests, if you think of those kind of people, they're only allowed to wear those for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what park and climate they're in. And these costumes, you're doing that for the whole time. Now, obviously, your face is not covered, so that is one big difference. But yeah, so it's all the way out to Wembley, which means a longer tube ride from Central London. But it's mostly above the ground tube, and you're going to sit in the most air-conditioned theater in London, possibly in the whole country. So there is that. Right, now, how to get the centers out. So we've got these two here. And if that is going there, can you see this? Then we're going to have this here and this here. Those nice and even. Okay. And then, thankfully, this is forgiving. So we're going to poke holes here. And cut outside the line. So what I do is poke a hole and then kind of cut to the corners. It's not going to be pretty, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to make it easier to move your scissors around. They're kind of trapped in an inside space instead of going around an outside edge. Okay, so then once you've got that, you need to take your cutting outside this pencil line just a little bit. But it doesn't matter how tidy it is as long as it's going to be covered by that. Christina says, it's been cold in New Zealand this winter, which means keeping our house warm for the baby is costing more. Yes. I think no matter which season, you end up worrying too much about the temperature because WB is a spring baby, so then trying to keep him cool in the summer was like a huge worry. But then once we got into winter, he was still pretty little. And I was like, no, it's getting cold. But our funniest thing about how much people worry about the heat of babies, we took him, I did a scrappy event in Porto, in Portugal, when WB was a baby, and the Adhesive Avenger just came along with me, and we made it into a family trip. And so they're walking around while I'm teaching, and it's perfectly lovely weather. So the baby is in a sling, but with no shoes or socks. And I guess Portuguese tradition is to keep babies' feet very warm because the adhesive avenger kept getting accosted by Portuguese grandmothers who came and said, your feet are so cold. Like, obviously they weren't speaking the same language, so they would just come up and hold his feet to try and warm them up. And he was a bit shocked because that would have been perfectly normal behavior here if the baby's not crawling around, if the baby is in a sling. Nobody would have batted an eyelid here that your baby's barefoot. Hello, Sophia, who is already on her summer schedule. All right. I need just this edge to be the tiniest bit further out. And then we can glue this letter. George is like, socks in warm weather is a no. A no, a no, a no. I just always find the behavior of grandmothers in different cultures to be adorable because it's a grandma thing. No matter where you are, different grandmothers are going to have like culturally different touch points. They're like, nope, that's not how we do it. And they're going to let you know, which is actually quite sweet. Where are Australians today? Because I've got a friend who will be going home to visit soon, and I don't know whether she's gonna have. Her family's in Melbourne, so our Southern Australians. How is winter treating you? Is she gonna freeze or is it pretty mild? Why did I do that? See? Messy? Not messy. Yeah. It's forgiving. And also, it will be the biggest part of the work on the layout. Once you've done the cut file stuff, the rest is all little things. So there you are. Right, let's go to the darker blue now. Even the tracing is forgiving, don't worry. I do trace on the back so that if I get pencil marks on the cut file, nobody sees them. Except you, because you're watching. Okay, China Girl says, mornings have been chilly. Oh goodness, Joanna says, Melbourne morning tomorrow is supposed to be 6 degrees. Brr! Warmer than usual winter, but still cold. All right. Sophia, it's very funny to hear you talking about your cat being Smudge, because Smudge is the dance studio dog. And so in my head, I'm getting very confused by a dog and a cat. I'm easily confused, in case we've never covered that before. Well, it's an R, but we're good to go there. How are we looking? Oh, whoops, I pulled that off a little bit. Okay, we are looking like that. We're 2/3 of the way. Oh, but this needs a center cutout that I didn't think about. Hold on. So you want to align your cutout here so that it ends up not making one side like too skinny. Sophia was banned from naming the family cats because she would have called them Tweedledum and Tweedledee or Smith and Wesson or something like that. So instead, the kids named them, and they are Tigger and Smudge. What am I doing? It's already pulled off, Shimelle. You're just going to make it worse. Just pull it off. There we go. All right. All right. Okay. I've got an A, and that one needs to be the stars. So that's this. This also has a center that I need to not forget about. Jean has a Bagheera. Amazing. And then the center of the A. That looks right. A little triangle to cut here. And we will take that from messy to tidy with this layer over the top. And then this one, I need to move to a different section here because I'm getting everything stuck. Oh, I've not put that quite straight. Hold on. And here's why I don't overthink the overlapping too much, because look, it's just the same color. So if I'd gone all funny about which one should go over the top, it wouldn't have made any difference. Okay, that looks square now. Right. the T is the dark blue. Oh, Joanna's going to do 81 squares tomorrow. I'm excited for you. That's a lesson in the 1-2 punch. And there's an 81 version and there's a 64 version. And you make a big old grid. But it's a lot of fun once you just accept that you need a whole bunch of squares. Okay. Now you can use all different sorts of adhesives on this. A lot of people like to use little tiny applicators and liquid glue. I'm really messy with liquid glue, so I avoid it if at all possible. You are only gluing paper, and then you're gluing that paper to another paper. So the normal paper adhesive works really well for me, but what you do have to be careful about is that you don't accidentally tear your frame. Because if it's one that you have to really drag at it, it can tear right through. So just be careful. All right. Then let's go here. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I don't need to trace there. Okay. All these straight lines. And then into these gaps. Middle one shorter. It's probably enough, or is it a little too big? Just that top corner. Other than that, we're good. Last one. Goodness me. See, this is why I don't do this very often on live streams, because it took a long time. All right. So we can go back and tell people, if you want to fast forward over the cutting, go to 45 minutes. Ah! Hold up. Middle one is not getting in the right place. Hold on. Let's start with the middle and see if we can go from there. Did I go over that corner? Nope. We're all good. All right. So we have tumbled glass right here. So I'm not going super dark. Because I'm clearly used a darker shade on there. I just want to make sure we were good. Okay. And then we're going to come in here so that we kind of know where it's going to be. Just give it a little bit of a shadow. A glow. Like that. Yeah. And yes, you could pencil this in. It'd probably make it easier. But also, you could do it this way. And this is the sort of thing that when you take the cut file off, it's going to look absolutely bonkers. But when you put the cut file back on, it's going to work. I'm not going to worry about the bit in the middle. I'm only doing the outside edge of the letters. Inside space, fine to stay nice and bright because then I've got more contrast. Joanna says, if you had to choose just one shade of blue distress oxide, which would it be, or would you refuse the question? I wouldn't refuse the question. I use a lot of navy, so the Chip Sapphire is probably my most used blue, but I also accept that that is, that might not be a sensible choice for everybody. So my most used is the dark one, Chip Sapphire. If you like it more for subtle things, then start with tumbled glass. Yeah, but I have many. All right. So this looks weird, right? All I'm going to do now is soften out these edges because I can see a few brush marks. But this looks weird. And then you take the letters and put them on the top, and it doesn't look weird anymore. It looks kind of lovely. All right. So you could leave that step off. Of course you could. But also, you can include it. You can pop the Celebrate up. If you are running out of album space like me, you might want to have it a little flatter. So now, adhesive along all of this to make sure it's going to be nice and secure. So yeah, this is like way more glue than I would use on a photo mat. but this is individual pieces, and over time, I don't want anything to budge. So I kind of do overkill when it comes to cut files. I've got ledger lines in the background, so I need to make sure that I keep everything straight, or it's going to be really obvious that it's not. There we go. Now, let's work out how we're putting pictures on this. So definitely these two. So let's cut them down to what they will be. Now that sold out sign, I might be able to tuck that underneath, you know, the stuff that I just overdid the adhesive. So I might pull it up to tuck that under. All right. Oh, Georgia is celebrating her birthday time like right now. Amazing. So I think these two kind of lean that direction. So can we get that under there, and can we get this one under here? Let's see. Thank goodness for repositionable adhesive. Happy birthday, Georgia. Okay. Do I love that? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to love this more. But I want the writing on the balloon to be legible, so that means here. Oh, I should have printed them smaller because I don't like them tucked under. Okay, so if I go over the top, it's too big. I should have done them smaller. Weave it in and out of the E. No. like this. Or like this. No, I don't like that either way. No, it's got to be all the way under, all the way over. Okay, so what if I put them kind of where they're going to be and then I reprint later? I can't reprint while I'm live because I either have to take the camera offline to print to the printer, or I have to take the computer that's broadcasting offline to go to the printer. Unless, let me see if these have synced to my iPad. That would be the one device that I could eliminate and print at the same time. Let's see. I might be able to do that. It would be cool if I could. Right, let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, this is promising. Okay, are they all here? I think so. Okay, let's do it. Is the printer on or off at this point? Off. Let's turn it on. And I'm not too worried about losing extras of this size because WB can have them for his album, so that's fine. All right. Now, interesting bit will be, I don't think I have the print app on here because I've never printed from it. So let's find out if I can print from here. It looks like I'll be able to. Okay, we need a random rubbish topic while I do this. Other than, oh, Georgia, tell us all your birthday plans, all the celebrations. Use the space near the L here. This one, yeah, I still don't like the size. I should have just thought it through when I saw what size I'd cut the cutting file, but I did not. Oh, okay. This is gonna take a couple minutes to update what I need in order to hook it to the printer. Oh, it's going pretty quickly though. Don't you love it when it starts doing like a time countdown, but then it just skips whole minutes. Okay, so let's look at what else we're gonna put on top of here. Because we have these, and we have dots, and we have this sticker sheet. George's birthday plans include lunch with her parents and her nan to a tea room for cake, and then getting her niece from school to get frozen yogurt and a paddle in the river in town. That sounds like a fabulous day. Love that. Where can we go with some things here? I'm not sure. I can make text pieces work, but I'm not sure anything else there is going to work. Right. We can open the print app. Yay. Agree. It's fine. Right. Let's see what it'll do. So the ones I want are these two. And somebody said, oh yes, Kelly reminds you to check for places you can get free things on your birthday. And Joanna said, is WB excited about starting a new school in September? Yes. Right now we're in the, saying goodbye to the last few, when you get to the point where it's always the last this, the last that. So today is the last celebration assembly, and part of his job is to help the teachers run the celebration assembly every Friday. And the highlight of that is that everybody who has a birthday that week gets to get up and saying, have like a 30-second dance break. And so he always leads them in the dance break. But today it will be all of the summer birthdays. So it is the last time he gets to do it, but he gets to go out on a high because it's going to be a massive dance party. So that's kind of cute. Right, so I did the salute and the balloons. There we go. And we want our grid off. Come on. And 2 taps for the border. These are my selfie settings. Oh, but it for some reason has turned all the pictures, so let's move them back. Okay, now you need the other app. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. So, yes, Georgia has her birthday crown. She's queen of the jet. Number 1 crown. Let's see how long it takes to download that one. Right. What else can we put on here then? So we've got celebrate. We could put it with. We've got wildflower this week, photograph, sunshine, remember. Bloom from within, stop and smell the flowers. The small things, good day, adventures, hey you. Trust your heart, dream big. I kind of feel like we use that one. Okay, in theory, we're good. Okay. what do I have to send information about? Okay. And now connect to the printer. This is as exciting as backing a cuff file. What are we on about? Settings. Let's find the printer. Okay, now, in theory. Have you found it? Have you found it? George is like, do you wish I had not I had not requested, that's the word I was looking for, a cuff file. No comment, no comment. We'll get there, we'll get there. I just should have been a bit better prepared. Okay, so then I need to make sure I'm actually printing it smaller, which means I'm going to double up my borders. And that should do what I need it to do. Okay. Here. I know, things in between the gaps. I don't love it. But I think that will work. Oh, Georgia, it says we could have done celebrate big things from the different letters there. I'm not going to go back and do that one, but I like the idea. So you can use that should you wish. Now, let's have a look. Also, Georgia has made me realize it's not impossible to print during a live stream. So it was slow here because I had never installed those apps on my iPad because I've never printed from the iPad. But now I know, should I ever get in a jam, I do have a way to print during a live stream. Just had to think outside my usual patterns. And these photos are going to be way easier to work with. All right. See? Little. Now, I wanted to bring that peach in. Georgia thought her selfie was printing. It's mine. Okay, so I want to use this somewhere. I'm going to put this away before I accidentally drop my iPad on the floor. Let's put that over here. Let's pick up this trimmer. Make a little journaling box. So I haven't inked anything yet, but I'm going to ink this. And then I'm going to put it over here. Oh, maybe I put it on this side. Which side am I going to like it on? Oh, I kind of like this. Okay. do I go here? I do want it overlapping, so I think there, but I think I need to bring the yellow to here. Get like a little cluster up here that's going to take us into that little bit of journaling space. We could repeat that whole thing over here, but I don't think I want the peach. Might use peach as an accent, but we don't have yellow in this corner either. So let's mat this one also on the yellow. Yes, we have watched Andor. It's just a gorgeous, such a beautifully made program. Yeah, Star Wars is not really consistent at the moment, but Andor is a thing of beauty, which Rogue One is probably my favorite of all the movies if I take away the nostalgia factor. I think Rogue One is a gorgeous film. Like, Return of the Jedi is my childhood, so it's hard to separate that, but I love Rogue One as a film. So to get 2 whole series of well-made episodes expanding that storyline, it's gorgeous. Yeah, really, really good. Okay, so I do want something here. Maybe I do want the peach, but maybe just not as big a piece as that. Start with it the same size, and then we can make it smaller if we want to. So the thing I know I won't love is this. This E is going to be tricky. Getting harder to read. Obviously, I'm not going to put it there, but I was just looking at something. I know you could do a photo here. You could do a landscape photo there. I'm wondering if this is actually my problem. And I can move this. So I'm still going to use it, I think. But it's going to take a little detour. No, don't like that at all. And George's like, you could change it to big things now. It doesn't have to be that. I know. Let's see what we do. So this works well, yeah, because you can tuck it underneath and the shapes here work well. The bit that doesn't work well for me, and this is why sometimes I struggle with cut files, is that now the story of this page reads more about look at my cut file than look at my photos. George is getting cheeky now and telling me off. Shimelle, you made me do a cut file. At least let me pick my own title. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this is where I struggle because to me, the cut files should be secondary. So if you like this sort of placement and your photo is okay to kind of take a little bit of a back seat, then maybe that is where you put it. But I don't want that. So I'm more inclined to do this and put it over the top. But now that I've moved this up, I don't have that balance that I had. But the E is pesky because I'm going to get so much trap space. So what can I put in that bottom corner? Oh, because I could do title lettering there. Okay, I don't like it overlapping both because now this is trapped when it doesn't need to be. I like this having that open space. Okay, so I think I'm going to go there, and I'm going to cover up part of the R. So you could go underneath. But I would prefer my photos in the foreground. Now I'd also kind of prefer that this gap is the same as this gap, and it's not, but I'm going to cheat. Are you ready? I'm going to make that the same, but see how I then have this weird little pokey bit? We're just going to cover that up. So I can go in until the blue ends. Right there. Now, what would help balance this is I could throw in a third photo. Do you think what I'm thinking? I'm going to get a little bit of white around the edges because the sign is not quite that big. But I think that might come in handy. Right. Can I do some peach trains? Maybe. Right. So you said celebrate big things. So, okay. The big could go here. Oh no, it's gonna go farther up here. There or here? Here. Oh, I'm gonna trap that, but what do we think? across the E. I don't like that. I do like that best. Sometimes you just gotta trap it. Maybe I put an embellishment underneath there. Okay. I've got little stars on here. Yeah. I'm going to keep them all down to the photo. That. Okay. What could I put in there? Too small. The ones that are the right colors are not the right sentiments. But I could do the black and white ones though. Oh, sunglasses. Where's the sunglasses? Oh, here. Let's do that. That'll work. And I have one more black and white. Big things, good vibes. Right. Am I gonna add this in? Here, just tuck it underneath there. It's kind of too heavy, isn't it? It looks weird on its own. Oh, I kind of want it to work, but where? Oh, here, here. Can I put it down here? Or here, does that make it? I've then got two things piled over the E. Might make it too hard to read. It's too closed. I don't know about that. Right. We've been using lots of yellow. Today lots of red. Today we're going to use yellow. Bottom left needs a cluster, you think? Okay. I'm going to try these quite far apart and see what I think. It's been really weird for me to get used to using three the same color, or the same size, sorry. And no, I don't like them far apart. They're just too little for it to work, in my humble opinion. Okay. Georgia says next to the A, a little cluster here, like maybe here. What else do I have left that I could add in? Could use one of these loopy stickers. And then bring in the peach one more time. Maybe just cut it as a circle around, like a loop around that. Let's give it a whirl. What's the worst that could happen? I end up not using a bit of paper. It's fine. Which might be the case because I'm not sure I like that at all. I do not. Why would I not use teeny tiny dots on a 12 by 12 layout? You need little things. Oh, I don't like this though, Georgia. Okay, let's figure out something else with the peach because that is just not working. It's too many things, Georgia. There's too many things. No. Okay. I think that just goes in a pocket. I got a gazillion photos from this day, so there's definitely going to be pockets. Right. But I do want another little mix of the peach down here. If I were a train punch, would I be here? Yes, I would. Oh, I did them facing the wrong way. Hold on. Did I? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna put the trains here. I know it's 3 engines, but there's no train car punch. So we get 3 steam engines. I mean, there's 2 steam engines in the show. And then a hydrogen train. It's not an engine though. It's very confusing. We've reached definitely a saturation point because I quoted Starlight Express this morning and WB looked at me and went, "What's that from?" Child, how quickly you forget. Right, we need rose gold today. Why are all the droplets going the same direction? Don't like that. Okay. So we got some sparkle happening there. Journaling will go here. Might I come back and add more? It's possible. It's possible. Oh, Georgia. Oh, okay. She says she's joking. I'm not reading that one out. I can't stand that word. But Georgia was suggesting I detail cut train cars. So up close, we've got this little corner here. Journaling that's going to go on that peach block. And the other photo over here with some little hearts. And then the title bit down here with 3 little trains. So I'm going to let that dry. I'll put the journaling in and see if I want to add anything else to it. When I look at this, the only thing I'm unsure about is this, but I think it's going to feel better once the writing's on it. It feels so heavy right now, but I do like this color for the writing. You could just write straight onto this background paper. I've layered a ledger on a ledger, so you don't need to have a big block there. So if it's sticking out to you, just leave that bit off. You'll be okay. All right. Does this meet your birthday request, Miss Birthday Georgia? I hope so. So if you don't like cut files, blame Georgia. If you do like cut files, also blame Georgia. She's responsible. Either way. I hope you have a wonderful, happy birthday, Georgia. Everybody, I'm so glad you're here, and I hope that you have a creative weekend and a happy weekend and that all good things go your way. If you want to leave a thumbs up for this layout, whether you liked it or just liked having something different, you enjoy spending the time here, that would be great. Don't forget, today is 13% off with the code PRIME, and you can use my affiliate link to get over to the shop there and go stock up on any scrapbooky stuff that you would like at 13% off rather than full price. Yeah. Also, there's 2 freebies today, so don't forget to add them to your basket. Thanks so much, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.